In today's episode, I'll be talking about what worry is, what that looks like, why it's not worth it to worry about things you cannot control, and 6 different strategies to help you invite God into letting go worry and letting in true peace into your life. So stay tuned. I cannot wait for you to start today's episode. Hey Mama, welcome to Building Yourself with Grace, the podcast for Christian moms growing in faith, mindset, and motherhood, one grace-filled step at a time. I'm your host, Jenna Azera, a faith-filled mom just like you, walking through the beautiful, holy, and messy in-betweens of motherhood. I know what it feels like to feel overwhelmed, weighed down by mom guilt, and stretched thin trying to do it all. As I go through life, I've learned this. With God's grace, we don't have to chase perfection. We can renew our minds, find strength in Christ, and grow into the women He is calling us to be. Here you'll find honest conversations, encouragement, and practical tools to help you build your life from the inside out. So grab your favorite drink, take a deep breath, and let's start building yourself with grace. Hello, and welcome to Building Yourself with Grace. I'm your host, Jenna Azera, and I'm ecstatic to be here today. You heard me. I tried a new word today, ecstatic, and I think it'll be fun than trying amazing all the time. But I just want to say I'm grateful to be here, and thank you for tuning in today's episode. It really means the world to me, and if you have 30 seconds of your time, it would also mean so much to me if you could leave a 5-star review or even a review of your experience on this podcast. And I want to know how it blesses you and helps you grow, and it means so much to me to help, and it also helps bring awareness of my podcast to many, many moms out there who are needing these amazing messages. And again, just so grateful for your support today. Before we get to today's topic, which I'm very, very excited to talk about, I wanted to give you a heads up of what new changes I'm going to be starting with next year with this podcast. I've been learning a lot about what it really takes to run a podcast while also being a mom to a very busy, fun, energetic 2-year-old and growing my coaching program and blessing you amazing moms and just managing life in general. And posting every single week has started to feel a little bit too much in this season of my life. And I don't want to quit this podcast. I love doing this. I honestly love the changes and the feedback that I get that has been blessing you. And I want to continually bless you with new things that I continue to learn or things that I've learned throughout my life that have blessed me that I can bless you with. But in order to be more effective and be able to perform better, not only for my daughter and for my family, but also for you, my amazing moms, I'm going to do a small shift. This podcast will now be released every other week instead of every week. On the very first week of the month and the every third week of the month. And I'm still doing a main episode and an affirmation episode with each of those weeks. But this is to help me just provide a little rhythm, a little more of a better schedule that gives me a little more breathing room. And so I'm still here. The podcast isn't going anywhere. I'm just learning as I go and figuring out what works in this season of my life with a 2-year-old who needs my attention. And I want to give her that attention. She deserves it. She's my daughter. And very, very excited to try this new schedule this next year. But just know I am not going away, and hopefully that gives you permission to do the same, to adjust to the seasons in your life. If something's not working for you, there's nothing wrong with that at all, to change and to reflect, what do I need to pull back on, or what do I need to change to help me be more present with not only with your family, but with yourself. When you're not present with yourself, you're not present for your family. And so I hope I'm setting an example to you that it's okay to take a little step back. How much I would love to post this podcast every single week and provide a lot more content than bi-weekly. I have to recognize that I need to also do what's best for me personally and for my daughter and my family and my spouse and just life in general. I need to be present as a mom and be an example of what I teach. And I also want to be more fully present with you. So I'm excited about this new change and this new schedule. Can you believe it? Christmas is coming up any day now in a couple weeks, and also the new year. I don't know how to feel about that. It's just so wild. So let's get onto it. Let's get to today's episode. And I wanted to talk about worry. Worry is just something we as moms are constantly bombarded with. We're worrying about our kids. We're worrying about our spouses. We're worrying about even if we're working from home or working on a business. We probably worrying about that. We probably worry about financial things and expenses and bills. We worry about in-laws. We worry about global crises and world events and all the uncertainty that's happening around us. And it doesn't help that between the news on the TV and news on your phone and Instagram and Facebook, we are bombarded with information constantly. And because we are bombarded with all this information, we're constantly thinking about it. We're constantly worrying about things that are out of our control. And I just feel like, especially in this Christmas season, it's good to take a deep breath and take a step back and not let worry run our lives anymore. And this is why I want to talk about, because for me personally, a couple months ago, I was worrying so much. And I'm going to share my story in a little bit. But I wanted to share with you today 6 different strategies that will help you with worry. And that doesn't mean you're going to be perfect at it, or nor am I perfect at it. But these are strategies from an amazing book called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie, which I highly recommend. It's an amazing book. If not, read it, listen to the audiobook on Spotify. I'm sure it's available on Audible as well. But I listened to it on Spotify, and I'll share my story about how I got to that point. But I've read it twice, and I just think it has such valuable information about worry and what it is and how to stop worrying and truly start living. And as moms, you deserve that. So let's get into it. Let's talk about what worry is. So according to the Google definition, it says that as a verb, to feel anxious or troubled about actual or potential problems. And then the noun version of that Google definition is a state of anxiety and uncertainty over actual potential problems. And so kind of think about that. A lot of them can be really real problems. They're real things that are happening or going on in our life. But sometimes also they're about things that may never happen. Sometimes we worry and think too much about what may never come to be. We sometimes come up with these stories in our head of things that doesn't have to happen. And even if it did, what can we do about it? Some things are out of our control, especially when it's someone else's choices. It's global things that are going on and it's completely out of our control. Worry just really kills you from the inside out. The other day I was on Instagram and there was a really cool little quote that popped up onto my Instagram feed. It says, "Worrying does not take away tomorrow's troubles. It takes always today's peace." I totally believe that is true. Worrying never solves anything. It doesn't help you. It honestly just takes away today's peace, today's happiness, today's joy, today's calm, and puts you in a state of anxiety and depression and anxiousness and unsettledness. Honestly, it doesn't bring the best emotions. And worry is something that is not godly, honestly. Worry is kind of forgetting about God and putting things into our own hands and forgetting that the creator of this world is in charge of everything. He controls everything. He's in control. We are not. And when we worry, we kind of trying to take something that God can take care of into our own hands and hoping that we're going to be able to solve the problem. And it's just never going to work out. So in short, worry isn't from God. But just know that if you do fall into worry, you are still loved by a God in heaven who's going to help you. The adversary wants you to worry, wants you to act in fear, to feel stuck, to have anxiety, to have conflict, to have doubt. But God wants us to have joy, warmth, peace, safety, trust, connection, and healing. But worry can lead us away from all those beautiful things. And that's why God is beautiful, is because that He asks us to trust Him, to turn to Him, and give Him the worries that we face. Never shame yourself when you find yourself in the pit of worry, but instead to turn to Christ and let Him carry that cross. Let him carry that and bring you up closer to him. Another quote that I found on Instagram recently, it was on actually the same post, talked about how ships don't sink because of the water around them. Ships sink because of the water that gets in them. Don't let what's happening around you get inside you and weigh you down. And that's the same with worry. Don't let everything that's going outside of you get into your life and sink you. You can't control it. So focus on what you can control and what you can do, or what God can do for you, and let God take care of you. I truly believe that God will take care of you. And here's another reason worry is a waste of time and energy for you. According to WebMD, not only does it hurt you mentally and energetically, it helps and it impacts your physical health as well. And these are symptoms that WebMD quotes that worry can lead to, such as a fast heartbeat, nausea, tension in the muscles, muscle aches, irritability, inability to concentrate, and headaches and fatigue. That's only even half the list, and I'm sure you've experienced at least one of the symptoms, or even more, or even all of the list. And that's a reason too that I don't think worry is a godly experience that he wants us to have. It hurts us more than it helps us. Hey mama, if you've been feeling overwhelmed, stretched thin, or just worn out from trying to hold everything together, I get it. I really do. Every week on Monday, I send a gentle, faith-filled email called the Grace Letter. It's where I share my real and raw moments, the things I'm learning, the reflections God has been placing on my heart, and even the struggles I'm working through in my own motherhood. It's not perfect, it's not polished, it's honest, and my hope is that it gives you encouragement and simple grace-filled mindset tools you can carry into your own day-to-day motherhood life. If your heart really needs a moment of peace or a reminder that you're not alone, you can join us using the link in the show notes below. I cannot wait for you to subscribe and feel encouraged and blessed from what I have to share each week. Now let's get back to today's episode. I'm going to share with you my story a little bit about why I wanted to really talk about this topic. So a couple months ago, I was in a state of constant worry. I remember very specifically, I was at the park with my daughter, and all I can think about was all these worries constantly bombarding my mind. I won't go into depth about it because it's a little personal, but it was enough that I wasn't even thinking clearly. I was very anxious. Honestly, I was getting in a very depressed state and also very angry towards my spouse, towards my situation, towards everything that's going on in my life. And I hated it. I did not like it. And I remember just calling one of my mentors, my good friend, actually Kathy from episode 3, which I highly recommend checking out her episode about emotional help there. But I was definitely needing one of those moments. I'm like, Kathy, I need you. And I just remember her telling me in the phone conversation, like, why are you worrying about this? And on my head, I'm like, why wouldn't I worry about this? Like, this is very important. This is what's going on. And she was just sharing how I just need to simply start worrying and start accepting the worst of the situation. She shared that I need to start thinking about what I can do now to take care of the situation that's within my control. And at that moment, I realized that's when I was wasting energy on time and on things that I could not control. I just realized that I'm just wasting time and not being present with my daughter. That's what worry was doing to me. It was taking me away from time with my daughter. And I did not like that at all. And the book, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, came to mind. And I remember immediately grabbing my phone, getting into my Spotify, downloading the audiobook, and just listening to it on the way out of the park. Because I'm like, I need to work on this because this is not getting me anywhere. And I didn't even remember what Dale Carnegie wrote, because I read this book a couple of years ago and loved it and put it back on the shelf. And I tried to read it again, got halfway, never finished it. And I'm like, you know what? I really need to dedicate my time to this book because this is what I really need right now. And holy smokes, this book changed me. And I constantly am still reapplying the principles that I've learned throughout this book. And I'm still not perfect at it. There's days I still worry so much. But I want to let you know that that's okay. And as long as you recognize it, not shame yourself for those thoughts that you've had, those anxious thoughts, and start recognizing it or giving yourself that godly grace that He gives you to give you that strength through Christ, He will help you overcome worry. So let me talk about those 6 strategies that will help you and bless you and help you overcome worry. Number 1, stop worrying over things that you can't control. Kind of like what I talked about earlier, it's just a waste of mental energy to focus on things that are completely out of your control, especially when it's globally or someone else's choices in your life. It hurts you more than anything. When we mentally accept what the absolute worst scenario can be, then you can focus on the things that are within your control of those worst situations. So, for example, what if I can't pay my rent and I'll end up losing my home? Okay, you get to that point. Let's say that you did. You accept it. Okay, I accept that I've already lost my home because I can't pay rent. All right, you fully accept it in your mind. Then you picture, what can I do in that worst possible situation? You think of a solution. You know what? I have a family member or a friend that I know would let me stay with them until I can work hard to find a new place. There's their solution. Or another example is, what if my child has this diagnosis? Okay, let's accept that they already have the diagnosis. Now what do? I'm going to learn everything I can about the diagnosis, seek out parents who have children with that diagnosis, and seek all the mentorship that I can to help me in those situations. I know that may sound so unachievable, but the more you practice it, the easier it gets. And this is something I'm constantly working on. I just try to accept the worst in any of my situations. Like, for example, too, like let's say in a marriage that's really struggling and your spouse may not be treating you the best and may threaten divorce all the time. Sometimes in those situations, sometimes you have to accept, all right, my husband has divorced me. What do I do after this point? And you think about the solutions you can do. You can go to a trusted family member. They let you live with them for that time. What about my kids in this decision? What if they make a bad choice? Okay, except that you've already made that bad choice. How are you going to respond to it instead? So instead of worrying about something that may or may never happen, focus on what you can do in that situation or what you can do now to help you in that situation. So I hope that helps you understand that it's letting go of the control and just controlling what you can in that moment. You can never control what goes on in the world or someone's choices or what may happen, but you can control what's within your grasp. As I talk about this, accepting the worst, I just want to be very vulnerable here. It's sometimes one of the hardest things for me to accept as well. And I want you to know, Mom, that you're not alone in that fear. There can be a lot of fear that can come from this exercise and can be very scary. I just want to clarify, this is a tool about not giving up or being hopeless. It's about reminding your brain that even in the hardest possibilities that come, God is with you and there's always a way through. It's to help you find solutions instead of creating more fear around the problem. I remember when one of my mentors shared that with me, accepting the worst, and she's done it with me a few times. I hated the advice. I was so scared out of my mind out of certain circumstances. But I promise you that this tool can give you peace instead of fear. It can give you strength and confidence in yourself that you can get through this. I promise that you can do this and that it won't be the end of the world, that God's in the details, and you'll discover those details once you really find those solutions or think about it, once you accept the worst case scenarios. So I hope that gives you some clarity and also some peace. And just know that it's still a hard one for me at times, but that you're not alone in it. Number 2, focus on today. As women, we are designed to think ahead. We're designed to take care of so many things at once That's why we're mothers. We can take care of the household. We can take care of our children. We can take care of ourselves. We can take care of our spouses. We can take care of everything around us because we have to think a lot about all these things at once. But sometimes it can feel like really hard to focus on the moment. And so want you to remember to not dwell on yesterday because there's nothing you can do to change there. Don't dread about tomorrow, for your possible fears haven't even happened yet. Learn to be present with what's happening now. I am still working on this one. I'm such a planner, and so I'm constantly thinking about tomorrow or even thinking about what I did yesterday wrong, and I dwell on it. It doesn't help. One of my favorite movies is Kung Fu Panda, and Master Oogway, that wise old turtle. I just love his character. Po is just sharing all of his woes to him and all the frustrations that he has, and he just doesn't know what he's going to do in his situation. And this is still one of my favorite quotes from Master Oogway. He shares, "Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called present." I just love that. Isn't that just such a great quote? Like, yesterday is a history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. Focus on today. He talks a lot, Dale Carnegie talks a lot about in his book having day-tight compartments. And sometimes when we focus on our day-tight compartments, like nothing else will get out of it, then we'll be okay. Just focus on what you can do today, because you can't control what's going to happen tomorrow. You can definitely be prepared for it. There's nothing wrong with being prepared. But if we dwell on the future or dwell on the past of something that's already happened that we cannot change, it's just hurting us and our energy and our mood and everything that we do to function. So focus on today. Number 2, laugh at yourself or the situation. Honestly, humor is one of the greatest ways to reset your nervous system and how you look at the situation or frustrations that you're facing. Instead, you can laugh at the mistake you made. Like, I love laughing at myself. I think I'm so funny because I make mistakes all the time, or I stumble on my words and I'm like, oh, that was funny. And so I try to just laugh about the situations, or even laugh about something that might happen in the future. I'm like, oh, that'd be funny if that happened. And if it did, oh well, Sometimes even helping you think about what the situation would look like in the future and how it can be really funny. So for example, like your husband can maybe doing something that's very frustrating to you, but then you can think about in the future, like, do you remember when I would get upset with you about something so silly as that? Do you see how I turn a situation like that into something more humorous? Or remember when I was so scared that we would never make it financially to afford our home? That was ridiculous. I just can't believe I was so focused on that. You just learn to take humor into the future. You look at how the situation will look to you in the future and how little it will be. Everything seems so big at the moment, but when you put it in perspective of the future, it can bring a lot of humor to it as well, which I love about humor. Or even sometimes you can say something silly about the things that are stressing or frustrating you. Like, for example, for me, my daughter, I swear, loves to push my buttons. And even though at the moment it's very frustrating, I try to remember, like, oh, I'm going to laugh about these days. And I get so frustrated with her when she throws her mac and cheese on the ground, or I have to teach her to clean up her mess right after. Like, I'm going to laugh about this and miss these days. So instead of getting so frustrated at the moment, which this is what I'm still working on, and I'm still trying to remember to turn to humor on this, but it's definitely something that has helped me when I laugh about the mistakes I make, or how small the situation will be in the future, or even just how I can make it funny right now. Or even just coming up with a funny code word whenever you're worrying or frustrated, like pineapple or something dumb like that, can help to ease the worry and the frustration that you're going through. So finding the humor in the situation and laughing about it is the greatest way to help you. And that was number 3. Number 4, resting minimizes worry. If you're not getting adequate rest, it can cause exhaustion, which then leads you to worry and overthinking. Carnegie shared in his book about people's experiences that have helped him through this concept, such as working while resting on a couch or napping or resting at least 10 minutes a few times a day. I actually do this one. I always have a dedicated time. I rest at least for 10 minutes when my daughter naps before I even work, and that helps me kind of get a good reset for me, or at least just rest and do nothing. Just rather sit up and rest or lay slightly upright in the couch and just do absolutely nothing for 10 minutes with my eyes closed, and it's just so nice. That's a great reset. Honestly, this one can be a really hard one for me because I'm a nonstop going person and I'm still practicing this every day, and I actually do enjoy when I get to rest, but I still have to learn to calm my mind and all the to-do things that I have to do. But both have helped me tremendously, and he has a lot more of them listed in the book, but I could honestly do like a whole podcast just on resting. So those are at least two good suggestions, is to at least maybe do some things, rest on the couch while doing some work that you can do, like working on your laptop or stuff like that, or at least napping or resting for at least 10 minutes a few times, or even one time a day does something. And one thing that can help you if resting is really hard, which I've been applying this, is telling your body as you sit or lay down to relax. Just tell yourself, relax, relax. And even just doing it right now, I already can feel my body naturally relax. Anytime you tell your brain to relax, your brain takes that so literally and will help you relax. And it will take practice. It may not happen immediately, but the more you practice it and say relax, the more you will become relaxed. Number 5, gratitude is the cure to all worry. When you see what you've been blessed with all around you, it sure can make your worries seem very small or even really silly. The more thanks you give to God and others, that can include kindness and service to others, and honestly taking time to thank God for what He has given you can make your worries sound even more ridiculous. There's times I was actually having a conversation with a mentor of mine as well. I was going through had another moment of worries and frustration and why isn't anything working out in my life? I felt that moment. And she just sat there and she was like, do you even see the abundance you have? And I'm like, oh, you're right. And actually those who in the Grace Letter who have subscribed, they kind of heard this story from me recently. Just like how I realized, wow, I thought I was a grateful person. But now that you say that, I haven't really thanked God for what He has given me. I have so much around me. I am so genuinely blessed that I totally have missed what I have been given from God. And those around me, how they've blessed me and how they continue to help me and my family in the things that we are in need of or that we're going through. And I am just so grateful that God is so good and so patient with us ungrateful kids at times, even me. And I think gratitude can really put things into perspective. And if you want a good book on gratitude, check out The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. Highly recommend it. Really great book, and it really puts you into perspective of what gratitude really means and what it can look like. So if you want to really genuinely have a 28-day practice of gratitude, I recommend The Magic with Rhonda Byrne. And number 6, finally, putting the worry in God's hands. I think this one can be a really hard one for all of us, kind of like how I shared in the beginning. Sometimes we just want to be able to control everything and put it into our hands. We just want it to work out the way we want it to work out, and are not very patient with how God will take care of things. And I find myself in that place quite often. And it's something I'm constantly being aware of and constantly redirecting my mind to how to help me remember that He is there all the time. He's all-seeing. He knows how to help me perfectly. Why worry when God has full control of the situation? Still do what you can within your control, but you don't have to put your thoughts and energy outside of what you can do or people's personal choices, or even with the world, what's going on in the world. That is why having a truly genuine conversation with God and even a relationship with God through prayer is so vital to not only your spiritual life, but also your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Just as Christ counseled His apostles in Matthew chapter 6, verse 25 through 34, this is in the King James Bible, and this is all kind of shortened for our sake because it's a couple verses, but He says, therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. Behold the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, or gather into their barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they? But seek ye first the kingdom of God, and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought of the things of itself. Isn't it so interesting that Christ has asked his apostles to not worry? They were literally like walking place to place. They didn't even know if they would have clothes or food or anything. And he's just telling them, take no thought for the morrow. God is taking care of all the birds around them. They don't think about where their food is coming up next or their shelter. He is taking care of them along the way. And why wouldn't he take care of you too? And that really puts it into perspective for me, and also kind of leads into the gratitude of where God has blessed us with such abundance in our lives. And when I learned to put all of my worries into his hands, that I can truly learn to let go and find him through it. One of my favorite poems that goes along with this topic says, "As children bring their broken toys with tears for us to mend, I brought my broken dreams to God, because he is my friend. But instead of leaving him in peace to work alone, I hung around and tried to help with ways that were my own. At last I snatched them back again and cried, 'How can you be so slow?' 'My child,' he said, 'what could I do? You never did let go.'" And that's from an author unknown, but I love this poem, and it's constantly something I reread a lot because there's a lot of things that I cannot control or have to let God take care of in my life, whether that's a family relationship or a member, or if that's something that's going on in the world. I have to give him my broken toy and rely that he will, and trust that he will take care of me and take care of that person or take care of the situation. And just putting that worry into his hands is honestly the most peaceful thing you can do in your life. It probably is one of the hardest things to do because we constantly just want to take care of ourselves or take care of the situation ourselves, kind of like the child did, and do it their way. But I promise you that the Lord, when he does it and takes care of it, it will turn out much better than you can ever do on your own. And I promise you that he can provide you that peace that worry will never bring to you. Now that we've gone over these incredible 6 tools from Dale Carnegie's book, these were honestly my favorite takeaways from the book. Now I'm going to relist them for you so that you can remember these amazing tools to help you in your day-to-day life as you face worry. Number 1, stop worrying over things you can't control. Number 2, focus on today. Number 3, find humor in the situation or just laugh at yourself or the situation. Number 4, resting minimizes worry. Number 5, gratitude is the cure to all worry. And then number 6, putting the worry in God's hands. Honestly, I could have a whole episode just based on different tactics from the book, but I hope these 6 tactics get you started on to helping you overcome worry and to truly start living and enjoying your life personally, for yourself, for your children, for your spouse, and for everyone around you, and just to enjoy life again. Worry steals from your life, and it's not godly. It is from the adversary. Adversary wants you to focus on things you cannot do or control and bring you to despair, depression, anxiety. Worry takes us away from God and does not bring us closer. And I promise you that worry does not have to be there forever, that we can truly find peace, even if we aren't perfect in this. But I promise that God's grace can help us here. So I hope today's episode gave you some encouragement and hope that you can overcome this little demon in your life. I love you, Mama. God bless you. And remember to give yourself some grace as you work on overcoming worry. And next week, you'll be hearing an amazing conversation with my friend Bridget, who experienced very extreme pregnancy, postpartum, and even miscarriage, and had to go through a lot of depression, anxiety that came along with it, and how she found God through all the darkness that she felt. So I hope that resonates with you mamas who are going through very difficult pregnancies or postpartums or even had a miscarriage. You'll be inspired by Bridget's episode next week, and I know it will bless you, and I cannot wait to have that conversation with her posted to you all. So love you all. I'll see you next week, and God bless. Did today's episode encourage you or give you something new to think about? If it did, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and share this with another mama who could use a little grace and encouragement today. I can't do this without you, and I'm so grateful for the chance to walk alongside you in the divine chaos that motherhood brings. I want you to remember this, mama. God loves you. He sees you, and He is only a prayer away. God bless you, and I'll see you next time on Building Yourself with Grace.